And the agenda, or I would say the intention, is already set by Sejal that we have to break the cycle of self sabotage. Yes. It is like driving with one foot on the accelerator and the other on the brake. You want to move forward, you press the gas, but something inside you keeps hitting the brakes. And the result? You're burning fuel, making noise, but barely moving, and wondering why everyone else seems to be speeding past you. So, today, we're going to figure out why your inner saboteur keeps hijacking your journey, and more importantly, how to fire them from the driver's seat. Now, how many of you ever been 90% done with something important? A project, a goal, a relationship, and then somehow found a way to mess it up, right? Thank you. Thank you for the acknowledgement. Don't worry. You're not broken. You're just human. And your brain is trying to protect you in the most counterproductive way possible. And here's what really happening. Self-sabotage isn't about being lazy, undisciplined, or lacking willpower. It's wearing a disguise so good that even you don't recognize it. So I'm sure in one of the sessions, even Imran sir shared about the fear of success, fear of failure. Now that's what it is, right? Let me talk about Kavya, talented graphic designer who lands a dream freelance client. But instead of celebrating, she suddenly becomes too busy to return their calls promptly, delivers work at the last minute, and overthinks every design until the client gets frustrated and leaves. Why? Deep down, she's terrified that success will bring expectations she can't meet, that people will discover she's a fraud, and that her success will change her relationships. So her brain decides better to fail on my terms than succeed and risk bigger disappointment. See, that's what fear of success. And I'm sure each one of you can recognize it in your handwriting too. And then fear of failure. Then there's Amit, who dreams of starting a YouTube channel about cooking. He spends months researching equipment, watching tutorials, planning content, but never shoots a single video. He tells himself he's not ready yet, but really, he's protecting himself from the possibility of putting himself out there and flopping. His brain whispers, if you never try, you never fail. And then fear of being seen. And Priya, a brilliant student who stays quiet in college discussions despite having incredible insights. And when she does contribute, she immediately follows up with, but I might be wrong, or changes the subject. She's terrified that being visible will invite criticism or jealousy. And her inner saboteur says, stay small, stay safe. See, I'm sure each one of us have gone these paths sometime or the other. So the tricky thing about self-sabotage is that it doesn't show up twirling a mustache announcing, I'm here to ruin your life. It's much more subtle, wearing masks that almost look helpful. Let me tell you, its real face is actually, it's like procrastination's real face. You tell yourself you work better under pressure, but really you're creating a built in excuse. If you fail, It's because you didn't have enough time, not because you're not good enough. Arun always starts studying for exams the night before, then complains about the stress. But this pattern gives him an out. Imagine how well I would do if I actually had time to prepare. You know, many of you at in your student life must have done this. And the pressure becomes his excuse for any imperfection. Then we can always call it the hidden agenda of perfectionism. Neha spends 3 hours perfecting the first paragraph of her job application, then runs out of time to apply for other positions. And she calls it high standards. But perfectionism is just procrastination in designer clothes. If it's not perfect, it's not ready. If it's not ready, she doesn't have to face potential rejection. And then the overcommitment trap. Raj says yes to everyone, helping friends move, volunteering for extra projects, attending every social event, and then wonders why he has no energy for his own dreams. Overcommitment isn't generosity, it's often a way to avoid the scariness of focusing on what truly matters to you. If you're always busy with other people's priorities, you never have to confront your own fears about pursuing your own goals. And then the comparison game. Shreya spends hours scrolling through LinkedIn, seeing everyone else's achievements, and then feels too defeated to work on her own portfolio. She's not researching, she's gathering evidence that everyone else is ahead. So why bother trying? So social media becomes a weapon of mass self destruction. But here's the good news. Once you recognize self sabotage for what it is, fear in disguise, you can start dismantling it. And the formula is simple but powerful. Awareness leads to interrupt, leads to replace. So let's break it down. Awareness. Start noticing your patterns. When do you self sabotage? What situations trigger it? Maybe you notice you always get sick before important presentations, or you pick fights with people right before good things happen, or you suddenly become obsessed with reorganizing your room when you should be working on something important. So that is what awareness is. Then interrupt. The moment you catch yourself in the act, pause. Don't judge yourself. Just notice. Oh, here I am about to delete this email I've been working on because it's not good enough. Now, this is my fear talking. Recognition breaks the automatic pattern and then replace. This is where the magic happens. Instead of usual sabotaging behavior, choose one small, brave action. If you usually research endlessly before starting, today you'll start with what you know. If you usually aim for perfection, today you'll aim for good enough to share. And if you usually say yes to everything, today you'll say no to one thing so you can say yes to your dreams. So let's practice this right now. Think of one self sabotaging habit you have noticed in yourself. Maybe it is like starting arguments when things are going well, or get mysteriously busy when opportunities arise. It can be like helping everyone else achieve their dreams but neglecting your own, or research and plan endlessly but never actually start. So I'm sure you got yours. And now ask yourself this crucial question. What am I afraid will happen if I succeed? I repeat, what am I afraid will happen if I succeed? Be honest. Maybe you're afraid that success will mean more pressure and expectation, or your friends will resent your success, or you'll discover you're not as talented as you hope, or success will change you in ways you can't control. Write down your fear and then write this. This fear makes sense, but it doesn't get to drive my life anymore. I repeat, this fear makes sense, but it doesn't get to drive my life anymore. And finally, choose one small replacement action you can take today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. If you usually polish emails for an hour, send the next one after 10 minutes. If you usually avoid challenging conversations, have one today. If you usually wait until you feel ready, do it while feeling scared. And remember, your sabotaging behaviors once served a purpose. They kept you safe when you were younger or when the stakes felt too high. Thank them for their service and then gently escort them out of the driver's seat. Because every time you catch yourself and choose differently, you are rewriting your story. You're proving to yourself that you can handle success, failure, and everything in between. So, your self saboteur isn't your enemy. It's a scared part of you that needs reassurance, not resistance. The goal isn't to eliminate fear, but to drive with it in the passenger seat instead of behind the wheel. Here's your challenge for today. This week, catch yourself in one moment of self sabotage. And instead of judging yourself, get curious. Ask, what is this trying to protect me from? And then take one small, brave action anyway. And remember, you don't have to be fearless to be successful. You just have to be willing to feel the fear and move forward anyway. Your dreams are waiting on the other side of your comfort zone. So stop driving with both feet. Choose your direction, press the accelerator, and trust yourself to handle whatever comes next. Because you were born to succeed, not to survive your own potential. So, with that thought, thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us today.